Arguably the best bantamweight in mixed martial arts competes this weekend, and it's not at UFC Vegas 92. It is in Paris for Bellator. The bantamweight champion of the world, Patchy Mix, is back to defend his title in a rematch against Magomed Magomedov. And my goodness, with another victory here, his claim to be the top 135er in the world gets even stronger. The 30-year-old Patchy Mix is absolutely surging right now, having won 6 straight fights entering Bellator Paris this weekend. 5 of those wins are by stoppage, including a knockout to become champion against Rafion Stotts and a submission in November of last year against Sergio Pettis. The win over Stotts won the Grand Prix for Mix, and the win over Pettis solidified him as the undisputed king of the bantamweight division in Bellator. Patchy has been going through the top of the top in this division, dating back to when he entered Bellator in what would have been 2019. The only loss he's had in his career and in the promotion was against a former champion, Juan Archuleta. That was in September of 2020. And we're looking at it here. He's already beaten his competitor this weekend, Magomed Magomedov, once. He submitted him in the Grand Prix December of 2022. 2 minutes and 39 seconds into the second round. Magomedov entered the Bellator cage for the first time in December of 2020. He's amassed a record of 4-2 so far in the promotion, with losses to former champion Rafion Stotts and the aforementioned loss in the Grand Prix to Patchy Mix. But he is coming off of a victory last July. He submitted Danny Sabatello, a former title challenger. He's beaten Enrique Barzola, so he has good wins in the Bellator promotion thus far, but a big-time rematch for Magomed to right the wrongs and to become Bellator bantamweight champion against one of, if not the best fighters in the world at 135 pounds. And I've got to mention that Patchy Mix is one half of maybe the most dominant couple in all of mixed martial arts, because his girlfriend, maybe even fiance now, Tatiana Suarez, is in his corner every single time. What a power couple that is. Tatiana undefeated, potentially going to be fighting for the strawweight championship next in the UFC. Patchy Mix, the bantamweight king in Bellator, on an absolute tear, beating the best fighters that Bellator has to offer him. With a victory here, I think you can make a very, very strong argument that Patrick Mix, aka Patchy Mix, is the best bantamweight in the world right now in the sport. My goodness, this guy is a jack of all trades, electric on the feet, superb in the grappling and jiu-jitsu realm. He can really get it done in all areas, and I think that, paired with the competition, the people that he's beating, the way in which he's beating them, really makes that claim even stronger. Those skill sets paired with the victories. And if he can go 2-0 versus Magomed Magomedov this Friday in Paris, he makes an even stronger claim for me to be the name that I've wanted to see the most go from Bellator to the UFC. Now, I wasn't following Bellator as closely when Michael Chandler, for example, was really surging and a champion, etc., years ago. But obviously, that was a huge signing for the UFC. It's worked out great for the UFC and for Michael Chandler. After all, he's fighting Conor McGregor at the end of June. But Patchy Mix is, in terms of in his prime right now at 30, beating the best fighters in the world, a current sitting champion. I've never wanted to see anyone more from Bellator cross over to the UFC and compete with the Merab Dvalishvilis, the Sean O'Malley's, the Peter Yans of the world more than Patchy Mix. I'm not calling for him to leave Bellator in the dust and go over, but if he ever gets the opportunity to enter the UFC, my goodness, do we have some amazing matchups. But much like probably Patchy Mix would say, I'm going to say he shouldn't overlook Magomed Magomedov. He is 20-3 at the end of the day and is a very elite and dangerous fighter in his own right. And he's a man with hunger, wanting to right the wrongs of their first fight. Big time title fight, big main event, Bellator Paris. Patchy Mix, Magomed Magomedov 2 for the bantamweight strap. The co-main event will feature former Glory kickboxing world champion Cedric Doumbe from Paris. He is fighting Jaleel Willis. Cedric was signed to the PFL last year, and he came in and got a 9-second knockout in his PFL debut. And in his second fight just 2 months ago, March 7th, it ended due to a toe injury in the third round. Very controversial. A lot of people had a lot to say about that fight between him and the ref, Mark Goddard, one of the best in the business. Very weird style of stoppage. So Cedric is coming in technically off of his first professional loss in mixed martial arts. He is hungry to put on a clinic and a show in front of his home crowd. And his opponent, Jaleel Willis, is a 6-fight, nearly 4-year veteran of the Bellator cage. He has gone 3-3 in the promotion so far. All of his victories are by decision in the top of the top in the Bellator cage. He's got 5 finishes to his name, a 16-5 record, 32 years old, so in his prime years, but an uphill battle to say the least against a kickboxing phenom in Cedric, who is a big-time betting favorite heading into this co-main event slot. The undefeated 28-year-old Archie Colgan, sitting at 9-0 with 6 finishes to his name, is back in the Bellator cage this weekend. The former LFA veteran, the Eagle FC veteran, the 6-0 Bellator fighter Archie Colgan looks to remain perfect and get his first finish since March of 2023. Very active last year, a 3-0 year, and he had his biggest wins, including guys such as Emmanuel Sanchez. So he's looking to improve to 10-0. He will look to do that against Thibault Gouti. Gouti is a 6-fight UFC veteran, having went 1-5 during his time in the promotion from February of 2016 to October of 2018. He fought names such as Olivier Aubin-Mercier, a 2-time PFL champion, Sage Northcutt, and Nasrat Haqparast. But since entering Bellator, he is 2-1. He's coming off of a victory last May in which he got a knockout in the second round. He's looking to play spoiler and give Archie Colgan the first loss of his professional career. And in the second fight of the night, at least according to Sherdog, Aspen Ladd is returning, having gone 2-2 so far in the PFL with losses to Kayla Harrison, former 2-time gold medalist, 2-time PFL champion, now UFC fighter, and Elena Kolesnik. She's beaten Karolina Sobek and Julia Budd. Julia Budd, of course, was a big win in her PFL debut, but Aspen now, 29 years old, 11-5. I feel like the time is running out for her to really make a name for herself in the PFL/Bellator merger. She looks to do it here against the 8-1 Katerina Shakalova. Katerina has not lost since November of 2019 and is 1-0 in Bellator thus far. She has 5 finishes of her 8 victories. She's 26 years old, very young, and a very bright prospect. I believe even is the betting favorite, if I'm not mistaken. If not, it's a very close betting line. Of course, you're seeing it scroll across the screen here, but it should be an interesting fight. Aspen Ladd, dare I say, a must-win situation for her career and the status of it. So let me know if you're looking forward to Bellator Paris in the comments below. What do you think? Is Patchy Mix the best bantamweight in the world right now? Or are you waiting to see if he can get another victory this Friday night against Magomed Magomedov before you make any big-time decisions? To me, I think it's pretty clear if you look at his skill set and the victories that he's getting, he's absolutely one of, if not the best 135ers in the world. So give me your thoughts on Patchy and the rest of this card in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss my previews of fights such as these in Bellator, UFC, PFL, etc., where I go over the X's and O's and, more importantly, the storylines heading into every single fight. I also recap the most meaningful results every single weekend and give my thoughts and opinions on fight news and announcements for the mixed martial arts landscape. Join the community on social media at the BAJ MMA and follow the show on your favorite audio listening platform. If you like one long-form audio podcast, they release every Friday and Monday on Spotify, Apple, and many more. Have a great weekend, enjoy the fights, and I will see you in the next video.